kind of hits home for you, man. I think this hits home for you, and I think the reason why eventually most men at a certain age just start getting along, because there's certain realities that we all at certain point have to accept. I can walk up to any guy and say some shit about relationships that's kind of not main knowledge, but it's main common knowledge among men that have had that situation happen. If you know what I'm saying. Like at a certain point, you're going to have a couple breakups. You're going to go through the transitions, the periods, the ups, the downs. So you don't have to neglect the ideology that maybe you're a different race and you're a different thing. I can go up to a Muslim guy, say the same thing, go up to a white guy, say the same thing. Totally different religions. They both understand what I'm saying. Right? So as you get older, you're not the type of guy to go to nightclubs that often or to go to clubs or bars and shit like that. You're a much classier guy than I am. But certain times, certain days, you get to see what I've seen in the last 10 years and kind of really judge it and say, because you're not the type of guy to be very red pill at all. I would say you're a very neutral party. And you like to play fair. There's lots of times that you said, no, this is what men are doing wrong, or we should actually do this for that we should help women in this way, or you know what I mean? Like you say points for the opposite sex is all I'm trying to say. So you're fair in that. But as you go to clubs, does this now transition your mind into a different ideology over time, or is it still the same as when you were prep school kid and when you
prep school kid?
Bro, first of all,
I fucking never went to prep school in my fucking life, man. I grew up in like the shit part of Burnaby, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Hold on, it's not the shit part of Burnaby, but hold on.
It is.
Hold on.
Tell me what's worse. What, Edmonds? Nah, dog, we had it worse.
Edmonds was way worse.
No.
The reason I say Edmonds is worse
is because Stride? Fucking Stride?
No.
We had it over Stride.
No. Bro, there was shootings in Surrey when we were going. There was shootings in East Vancouver when we were going to school.
Bro, we're talking about Burnaby. I said the word.
Okay.
I was like,
Alpha's
what's
worse. Burnaby North's worse.
No.
What do you mean?
No. Disagree. First of all,
right,
we're talking about like elementary, because that's where I really grew up.
Other.
Not South Burnaby, because things change once you go South Burnaby, like you mature, and violence becomes different as you get older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyways, so I think what it really did, it was it brings up different conversations for me, which is what it did. Like one was that we had early this morning, technically. Another one that we had earlier when I called you on the drive home. But I guess for context, people are like, what the fuck? Where's this going? What is this? What's happening? I went out last night. I was in Penticton, and there was an opportunity for me and a couple of boys to like head out on the town. It is a town. It's not a city, right? It's a fucking town.
It's a fucking street,
it's a fucking
bro.
Town. And it actually is. Have you been?
Yes.
It can be nice. It's the weather was great. Yeah, the weekend. Anyways.
Shut the fuck up, bro. Penticton sucks.
No, it doesn't at all.
For me, it does.
You're dumb. I don't know what to say to that. That's just
all right.
I just whack.
Right after I finish saying this guy's a neutral party.
That's a whack fucking statement. No, because like that has nothing to do with the town overall.
No.
Like, it's a
I'm
beautiful
not saying
town.
that. I'm just saying like the small towns, and I've been to a lot of small towns in BC and across Canada.
Yeah.
To me, boring as fuck. I can't be there for more than 2 days. Kind of like Vegas.
Those are two very different places, so I don't know how you relate them.
They're both the extreme sides. Vegas, highly structured. Small towns, extremely low structure. So both of those scenarios bore me. It's like the middle ground is okay, where I can chill out and do it. Anyways, continue your bullshit, you fuck.
So we went out. We went to a casino, got kicked out because my boy was too drunk. I didn't. These are some details that I didn't tell you.
All right.
And so we went to, I guess, one of the last fucking. I thought so. I knew this place going in. It's a pub.
Yeah.
And I thought, and it's a hotel pub too.
Okay.
So I'm like, I was not expecting much, and then we show up, and there's like it turns into a club in the evenings. I had no idea because I've stayed at this hotel before, and it's you have breakfast there or whatever, but it's like Library Square.
Okay.
Regular, and then it switches into like a nightclub in the evenings on Fridays and Saturdays. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, we show up, we're at the line, and we decide, okay, let's cut this line, pay the bouncer, and then whatever, get in. Over there, they only tip them 20s.
Oh,
rough
poor bastards.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so we were we were having a good time, and I guess for context, I'm giving my boy here detail, so he's hearing some of this for the first time too. He only heard the after. Me and my buddy, who's like I said, I'm quite a few drinks in, so I'm drunk, but my boy is lit. Like I said, we got kicked out of the casino. It was 100% his fault. I didn't want to tell him that. I didn't want to tell him that because I'm like, bro, I can't bring down the vibes.
Keep it real.
I can't bring down the vibes right now. It's like, I'll tell you this, tomorrow when we're sober.
Yep.
But right now, I can't bring you down or whatever. So
I get you.
I'm just gonna whatever. But yeah, 100% his fault.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Been there.
But also the casino, the rep, he was doing a bit too much. So I actually got pissed at the end because I was like, yo, you guys are doing some slimy shit. But anyways, so when we had to the bar, we had to get inside the club and then go to the bar, get some drinks right away. And I guess it was packed actually, and I guess it makes sense. It's the only fucking place to go out on a Saturday in Penticton if you're under the age of fucking, 30 or 35. I don't fucking the ages people going out there. But we go to the bar, get some drinks, and there happened to be a group of girls. And there are a lot. I mean, like I said, the place is packed, so there's like obviously girls everywhere. But he had just happened to pick a spot where he chatted up. He started a conversation with a couple of girls, and then I'm obviously right behind him, like, oh hey, and we all introduced ourselves. We're having a good time, and apparently they were there with a really big group. Like, I actually don't even know how big the group was at the end because it felt like every few minutes there was like another girl that would pop up. And she's like, oh, I'm like, oh, you guys are together? She's like, yeah, we all came down. I'm like, how fucking big is this? And she's like, yeah, I know a lot of people here. I'm like, okay, cool. We go to the back where there's pool tables, and at that point, it's just the four of us, right? So we went away from the group, and then
stop telling us logistics and tell us what the fuck happened.
What do you mean?
Come on.
Well, then what's the point?
No. I'm just
I'm like, bro, come on. I'm trying to exclude the dumb details, but I only include the details that kind of matter. We're outside of the groups now. It's just the four of us. We're just talking, and we're just like chatting, like one-on-ones, I guess you could say. But we're still all together. And then we end up going back to do some shots. So we go to the bar, and the whole time these girls are with us, and we're vibing the whole time. We're having a good time. Everyone's like, smiling, whatever. My boy's having a good time with his girl. I'm having a good time with mine. We're talking about a bunch of different shit, and we go do shots, and then we come back, and this is where it gets weird. So we go back, and my friend and his girl, they're back near the pool tables just chatting, and then I joined them, and I was expecting the girl who I was talking to also like come back because that's what we did before. And then I see, I fucking see her, and she's off where the dance floor is, which is not too far away.
Right.
And she's talking with, I guess, one or two of her friends who were girls. And then she's like hitting up on this fucking black shirt wearing fucking brown dude. And I'm like, because keep in mind too, I'm not lit, but I'm pretty drunk. Like, there's quite a few drinks in. So everything is heightened.
Yeah.
Emotions are heightened. You know what I mean? So everything, right? And I saw this and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, we got you guys drinks. Right, like we bought you multiple drinks. We were talking the whole time. I never got. Here's, I guess, the part that at the time really bugged me. I never got a sense that these girls weren't into us, because sometimes you can tell, right? Like you're talking and you can tell they're like, "What? I'm not paying attention." They're like kind of just there and whatever. Like they're not really focused on what you're saying, and you can tell, right? Like even if it's not all the time, when you're having a good conversation, there'll be moments of them like drifting off into the distance. You're like, all right, she ain't fully in this. And so if, eventually that girl disappears, you're like, all right, fuck it. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
We didn't really vibe. There's no click. Fine. But what bugged me last night was that I didn't get that at all. I might have missed it if it did happen, but I thought that we were just going to keep talking for a bit, and then we were eventually going to go dance or do whatever, right? Like I was like, okay, this is going well. This is going how I think it should be going, and then we'll do something else in a bit. But then, she just she like her and her friends are just like, and I can see him the whole time because it was, like I said, not too far. And then I'm like, well, fuck this, man. And so I made up some excuse to my boy. I'm like, oh, I got to bounce or whatever, and go back to whatever the fuck. And I said bye to him and I guess her friend. And then I just left. And I remember being so heated. I was like, man, I just got to walk this off. So I literally walked to the hotel, which was like 40-minute walk.
Yeah.
And that was about. When I got back, I ended up getting in my truck to pick up some McDonald's. That's when I texted you, and I was like, what did I say? A demon was born tonight.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went off and we're back and forth. So that's like the whole story.
Yeah.
Going back to your question, I was like, has this done anything, I guess? It's interesting looking back on it the next day because now, sober, you've had time to like, whatever, get rid of the emotions that happened, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just faced with like the facts. And sometimes, which actually happened today, some additional details. So I don't really know because it is possible that the guy she was talking to was also like a friend of a friend. Like she might not have actually. I think last night I might have judged that moment too quickly because this morning when I was talking to my boy, it's like 12. He's like, "Yo, what's going on?" I'm like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, whatever." And he's like, "Hey, he's like that girl was asking for your number. You cool if I give it to her?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Give her my number." So who knows? The way I read it last night, I was like your typical guy who gets like awakened. He's like, "Yo, fuck girls. Like, what's? There's no point in like spending too much time. Like all this like red pill shit was because I've seen it all. Yeah. Like I watch this stuff because it's good to be informed. So I see it all, and so all this stuff was like concerting itself to my mind. You're like, yo, man, like shouldn't spend too much time on a girl. Not too much money. If anything happens, it's whatever. Don't get too invested. All this like shit, right? Yeah. And then. These details or whatever. I think my conclusion, driving back this whole time, and we talked about this where you're like, you gave me the question, you're like, think about it. I think what it really comes down to is whenever you go to these environments, and this is I guess for me, you got to go there knowing why you're there. Like if you're just going to have fun, if all you're doing is just put a smile on your face and just chill, you can just do that with your boys. Get drunk, have some drinks, whatever, do some stupid shit, whatever. You're cool. But if you're going to go there for other reasons, if you're going to go there like, all right, listen, I definitely want to get my pipe licked or some shit. If you're going at a club setting, you got to be more, I don't want to say objective. Maybe that's the right word, the wrong word. You have to be more direct about it. You got to be a bit more cynical in regards to how you're going to do this. Like, you can't be a romantic going into a club thinking you're going to fall in love at a club and you're going to meet blah, blah. I don't see that really happening in a modern club environment. I just don't. Because the amount, I mean, you're going to talk to this in a little bit as soon as I'm done talking here, but the amount of girls that are out doing or in this kind of environment, it doesn't seem like that's the way. I don't think that's the play. Whereas before it might have been. Like, way back, way before I went out. Maybe that used to be the play where you could actually meet, like, a nice girl at a club. But I think girls who are going there to get drinks from guys, which are just they're going there to have fun with their own girls, and they're like, all right, let's whatever. Those are not the girls that are like the good girls that are you're gonna end up being in a proper relationship with. You're like, yeah, this is whatever. So that's kind of what I took from it last night. I remember I was definitely because like I said, the liquor. I was a lot more heated than if I was sober I would have been. But that's kind of like my thing. So
can I give you a couple suggestions?
You can say what you want. I was talking for a lot there.
No. It's good. I like hearing you, man, and I think we've come a long way because back in the day, I used to interrupt you left and fucking right.
Well, we both used to, right? Like this was great for just working on listening, man, to somebody else. This has been awesome for that.
100%. Like active listening.
Yes.
Like, you could just listen and just be like,
oh, bro, my guy knows about active listening. Yo, what's up?
You know what I'm saying? I got you.
What's up?
But the only thing I could say is, I don't mean to, I always give advice, and it's, some people are like, man, why you give me advice? I don't need your advice. I'm like, dog, it's always good to hear advice. You have to just be good in seeing what is good advice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's always good to hear advice because let's say you hear somebody's advice and you see it's trash. You hear their advice 3 times. You know it's trash. Yeah. Then you're like, all right, I'm not going to listen to this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. They're retarded. But if you listen to a guy and he's giving you legit fucking advice back to back to back over the years, you're like, fuck, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. When it comes to this stuff, bro, triple PhD, your boy. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of the game because I've been around it and I've got my heart broken so many times I fucking forgot count. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. But number one thing is, when you're going out, absolutely cynical. Like, you know, the guys that fuck the reason they fuck is because it's a numbers game. They have no feeling towards it. It's not like I'm going out and, you know, I did this, so I do this. It's like, bro, you go out and you try to spend the least amount of money you possibly can and get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Because 10 times out of 10, the girls that you meet there are very likely to be the portion of the population that are extroverts, that don't make good wives, that are very singular based, very feminist ideology. Those aren't even the girls you're going to end up with. The girls that I think traditional men or guys like us who are immigrants who grew up with immigrants, like I'm a first generation immigrant. I'm a first generation, so is my mom.
You're second generation.
No, but technically...
Yeah. No, I know. I looked this up recently because I was very confused what first and second means. We are second generation Canadians because our parents were the ones who immigrated here.
Sure.
And then us are after.
Let's say I immigrated here by myself.
Yeah.
You're
first generation. Yeah.
So
yeah,
doesn't really matter.
But that's what it is. And I was very confused with that stuff. I was like, what the fuck?
My whole point is that you can't. My best advice is you can't spend money that you're going to be sour after on if you don't get anything. Let's say you spend $100.
Yeah.
You should think that this $100 is spent regardless of what you get or you don't. Otherwise, don't spend money. Because that's the number one mistake is like, fuck, I lost.
Yeah, X amount of dollars.
And it's not the money amount. It's that you got fooled. That's what gets guys. It's like, fuck, I got fooled. She fooled me. Right? She like, that's a fucking, you know, conniving motherfucker. She took my fucking money, my hard work. And it could be $5. It could be $1,000. It feels the same.
No, I understand.
And the other thing is that there is no relationship or getting laid math. It's never the same. You could spend $200 on a girl and her expectations might be $5,000. And then you can have a girl who spends money on you, which has happened to me. I wouldn't say countless amount of times, but it happens.
Right.
It happens if you do it right and you're in that surrounding every week, week on week, you're going to understand on how people are going to come and get tables regardless. They're going to have alcohol regardless. Why do you have to buy it? Why can't you just be like, yo, what's up? And then talk to the chick. And then eventually, bro, girls, if they feel you up, they'll just bring you drinks.
Yeah.
They'll just bring you drinks because they want to have a drink with you, right? Are they the best girls? Absolutely not. But it's to get detached. Similar to this. You have nerve ending on your shins. When you do Muay Thai, you weaken those nerve endings from constantly hitting something with your shins. Over time, you no longer feel anything. And it's not painful because you have all this calcium that has calcified on your bones that has these like hairline fractures that have calcified. So it's made your bone even stronger.
Yeah.
That's what it's like to just try to fuck as many girls, is that once you kind of succeed and you have a certain number on your belt, this could be a different number for everybody. It could be 50 for a guy. It could be 1,000 for another guy. Whatever that number is, it's kind of necessary sometimes for some men to get this number and then not really feel anything, right? Like recently, in the last 5 years or so, I think if I had any relations with any girls, I've had zero feelings towards it. Like I actually didn't really like them. It was just out of companionship or like easiness that I did it for. The third thing is like, it's hard for us to be non-emotional when it comes to girls because as immigrants, we have very traditional mindsets that make us believe that because we do something, a girl has to do something else for us. Girls don't feel that way. They feel like there's certain rules that men have to do, but it's the same bias, just on different sides. We do something, right, first, because that's what guys do. Guys do something first.
Yeah.
And you expect a reciprocation of that thing that you did. Most of the time, if you're a hopeless romantic, you're expecting the best version of that.
I think you actually phrase it really well there because people talk about return. It's not return, reciprocation. That's an excellent word to use because that's what it is. Because when you use the word, when people, not you because you said the other word, when people say the word return, they're like talking about like they understand that it's something owed. And that's when people get like, but I don't want to own it. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. Reciprocation's different. It's much better, actually.
It's that old school De Niro line. It's like, this is what you do. You open the door.
Yeah, that wasn't De
let
Niro.
her
I know
in.
who was.
Who
yeah,
was
yeah.
it? Who was it? Please tell me who
The
it was.
name of the actor, I don't remember, but I know the movie Bronx Tale. It's
Bronx Tale.
From Bronx Tale. De Niro is in the movie.
Yeah,
He's the
but
guy's
it's
dad.
not the guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's the gangster.
Yeah.
You go to the other side, and you tell her to open the door for you. And she opens the door, you got yourself a good
It's
one.
even better. It's not you tell the girl to open the door for it. The idea is that you don't tell her at all.
Yeah.
You open her door, and when you walk around the back to get
She
to
does
your
it
door,
for you.
she leans over and unlocks the
Yeah.
door at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up. You can't do that shit anymore with modern cars. I've always been pissed about that. But I did try it once.
Yo,
I did try it
you
once
should-
because my dad's Corolla.
Yeah.
That's got the old school like gotta pull the fucking locks.
Yeah. I was gonna tell you one more thing, and it's one of the things I noticed that was a big deterrent in actually getting with girls and getting with the girls that I want is that you have to be very clear-headed because you have to be able to understand social cues better than everybody else because you could be among 6 girls. And you have to be able to tell which one likes you and which one doesn't. Otherwise, they'll just go home. They'll never come up to you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because in a group setting of girls, you have to always make the move. When you have a singular girl and you're in a group setting of guys, it will happen that she'll come up to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes one-on-one, but that's best case scenario. And what I want to say about that is when you get drunk, it's the worst time and the biggest, riskiest time to try to hit up on girls. This is why. There's a difference between having a buzz.
Yeah,
and,
no, 100%.
and not
100%.
That buzzness, I don't condone alcohol or any drug, but that buzzness kind of lets you go past that little wall that you have and be social.
Yep.
Right? I'm not saying you have to do it. You know, some guys need blow for this. Some guys need other shit.
Yeah, I
Who
understand.
knows?
I get it.
Some guys don't need shit. But the whole point is that if once you're beyond that, you're really risking your wallet, your time, your next day, how you're going to feel, and kind of I don't want to say it like this because it sounds like a pussy, but any kind of possible emotional damage you're going to have from this, worst case scenario. I 100% believe, not 100%, but like a good 70%, I'm sure that if you stayed there and you talk to the chick, there's a 90% chance, 70 to 90% chance that you were either going to get laid or was going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? But because you were drunk, you didn't read it properly. Later you found out that she's trying to get your number. Then you realize, man, I was way too emotional. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
And for a guy like you, that could be very dangerous because I'm a roller coaster of a human being. My life is sort of that way as well. So I could tread in those waters and kind of guesstimate a good, you know what I mean? Some good possible scenarios of how to run my life, right? But you are a very steady human being. Like, you are naturally calm. Your life is very naturally calm as well. Like, you have certain wisdoms of like what not to do and what to do. So for you, if you go and you get drunk, well, in that relapse of time that you're drunk, you're running this roller coaster ride. You're not used to this shit.
Yeah.
You're going to have a couple of shots in the dark, and then boom, you're going to feel like a scenario was a certain way where it actually wasn't. What I would suggest is just get buzzed, read these scenarios, and honestly read, like, you'll see what I'm saying. But it sounds like a cliche, but honestly, it's read their body language, their energy, how they're 9 times out of like 10. I'm telling you, you'll be able to guess the right one eventually. It's so easy. And then, you know what? Don't have a feeling towards it. That's the thing immigrants have. We have like this fucking thing where we get sour. I used to get sour and like fucking talk shit about bitches and shit and like cuss them out. I still do sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a thing that's horrible because if it gets out there, I'll tell you why it's bad later. But I think I've already told you. You'll talk to some hoes where like you'll cuss them out or some shit or like
and he travels around.
and it travels around and people find out and they're like, man, this guy's fucking crazy. And that, again, I'll tell you, I'm going to be honest, that has happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck about what they think. Like, listen to me. I could be banned from all nightclubs, and I'll still be fine. Because I've been there for so long, I know that it ain't shit.
Yeah.
It's like being able to go to strip clubs. Bro, you could live a whole life without ever going to strip club.
R.I.P. Brandy's.
Yeah, they shut it down,
out to
dog.
Brandy's, yeah.
It's over. But, that was Chlamydia Field, man. That place smelled like fucking period.
That place used to be good.
It was never good.
I mean,
that's like saying the number 5 orange is good.
No. I always rated Brandy's above number 5. But this is like in my fucking 21-year-old rose tinted glasses. You know what I'm saying? So
Brandy's was so bright, bro.
I don't remember, man.
You don't remember?
I just remember having a good time there.
Do you not remember going, you have to take the elevator up?
No, I know. I remember being inside there. I don't remember it being bright, is what I'm saying. Well, in my memories, it was not bright. So
do you remember the mirrors that go all around?
Yeah. Because you have the, because when you get in, there's the bar, and then there's like the upper seat, like the tables on the side.
So, and you remember the old school chairs they used to use?
I think so, yeah.
Like basically classroom chairs from the 80s?
I don't remember that, actually.
How the fuck can you say it's a nice place?
No, because I had a good time there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I had good times. That's what I'm saying.
This guy could be at a dump in Alabama and be like, yo, man, I got laid.
Number 5 didn't have good times. That's why I'm like, Brandy's. I remember the one time I went to number 5. Well, not the one time. One of the last times. And the girl was coked out of her mind when it was dancing on the main stage.
Yeah.
Like the look, you know that coke look?
Yeah.
That was rough.
I'll tell you one thing. I've only been to strip clubs for events.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. What? I mean, actually, I was going to say, who'd just go? Like, a lot of people just go. But, yeah, I've been to birthdays, usually.
Or I've worked there.
Mm-hmm. But this little segue aside, appreciate what you said. That was a lot of good stuff that you just mentioned. I only got a couple things to address to that, and then we can probably move on or whatever. But one big detail that I forgot to mention in this whole thing was actually not in the whole thing. It was one of your second or your third points when you said something about when you go somewhere or like losing money, like the point before that. I forgot that I didn't do this because I wanted to, and I'll explain what that means. I didn't go there because I'm like, let's go clubbing tonight. It devolved into that because this was a work function the whole time. So I was at a work thing to start, and then I was I call him my boys, but he's legit. He's my customer, so, right? But we're about the same age and we get along pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's why whatever. And at the work function, we're like, hey, let's blah blah blah, me, a group of 5 of us go to the casino.
Yeah.
That's how it started, and the whole thing is that what's awesome about working for the company that I work for now, and kind of my role is that because I'm traveling for a work event, which was the tournament, everything I do there is work related.
Right.
So when I'm at the casino, when I'm at the club, all these transactions, as long as I'm with him, dog, that's entertainment and meals.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So there was never, and that's actually what changed the mentality about even going to the club, because I'm like, I'm not coming here because I want to I'm here because my boy wants to go.
Yeah.
I'm accompanying him. We're just gonna have a good time.
Listen.
I'm gonna whatever. So it made when we got there at the beginning, I remember feeling really like at ease because there's no pressure on my end. I was like, if we just come here for 5 minutes and then fuck off, I'm fine because I'm not on the clock, but I'm doing a thing here. I'm entertaining like a customer. But if if my boy wants to get laid and that'll make him happy, then fine, whatever. I'm gonna help him with that, and then we'll just whatever. So it was a very different mentality than what I normally go into clubs with, which is like a few friends are like, hey, let's go, or blah blah. It's like, okay, we're very clearly going to this and whatever. So that was just to address the thing about them, because I totally forgot to mention that
this changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you were just too drunk and emotional.
And then the second thing which you addressed, the whole buzz thing. I actually don't like getting drunk. Believe it or not.
No, drunk is different than buzz.
No, I know, but some people actually like getting drunk. That's the thing.
Not healthy, bro.
I enjoy a nice buzz, and I operate on a buzz most of the time. And in fact, given that this is also work, I should have been at a buzz the whole time. The issue was, since me and Homeboy had never actually gone out properly, then we did a bit too much too early. Yeah. So when we were still at the work function, we like shotgun beers. And then we did another shot, and then but normally, like I said, I operate at a nice buzz, and when I'm entertaining clients, bro, I don't get drunk. You can't. That's unprofessional. You can take clients out, do things, whatever, but maintain a sense of like propriety about what you're doing, right? It was different though because it was just me and him, and whatever. But if I was with, I would have like turned down a lot of drinks if I was with like different people from work. But that was another big thing, is that I normally would, especially that it's work, I would have just stayed at a buzz the whole time. But I think that's a great point that you mentioned about, it's like, yeah, don't let it get to the,
because like this whole thing was like, to me, as you know,
no, for sure,
neutral,
yeah.
This was like just a misunderstanding on your end.
I think so too. No, I especially
like, not even a big deal. You didn't lose
no,
much.
I understand
or anything.
I really think it boiled down to just like I was definitely too drunk. I just got too emotional in that moment, and that's why I like the ability to think about it afterwards. Where I was like, okay, what actually happened, and how was I feeling? How did I react? It's like, well, okay, clearly you overreacted here emotionally, and what you did. Like, you didn't have to fucking leave, but the problem is,
tell me the facts. Tell me the facts, like initially. So we talk about this then and there.
I did. That's why I mentioned the whole thing.
No. You didn't mention the fact that you technically, this is a write-off.
Oh yeah. First of all,
okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, the girl wanted your number.
I didn't know about them until today.
And then third, that you were like, no, there's no third. It's just the 1, 2.
Yeah.
But still, this was literally just an emotional misunderstanding because you were too drunk. That's all it was.
100%.
That's all it was.
And yeah, absolutely.
So, as guys, right, when when your boy's going through some shit like this, you always back him up. Always.
Yeah. It was the same with me and my boy yesterday.
I've never not backed up my boy.
Always.
So whenever I'm like,
when it happens,
of my friends,
when it happens,
this happens so much in the last 10 to 12 years. I would say this happened so many times.
Yeah.
I always join my buddy in shit talking all women. We first start doing this, right?
Yeah.
We first start bad mouthing all women, right? Kind of like how girls always say, "Man ain't
you gotta
shit."
get it out. Yeah,
man ain't shit.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it starts. Then you just give some Bible verses to each other of how you can stay strong and go on trend together and all this shit. And then eventually it's just like it's you basically start moderating your friend into being like, bro, it's all good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where I fucking laugh at this is that I would have a totally different fucking stand on this if I knew all these facts. I would have just been like, bro, chill out. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who cares, bro?
I think if I called you yesterday, you probably would have figured it out.
Yeah.
Even in my drunk ass, you probably still would have figured out if you called me and you were like, yo, explain it. And then I would, and you'd be like, okay, man, you're being retarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in those moments, it just takes sometimes the next day to kind of get all that out. And, yeah, so that's whatever.
Listen, you guys, like your group of friends, you guys are guys that this doesn't happen that often. I have friends that this happens every other week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They call you and shit, and you're just like, yo, shut the fuck up, Timmy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you do this all the time, and you know what's going on, and it's not that bad, right? So I think personally, next time this happens, keep doing shit like this. Keep risking it, because risking it educatedly, I don't even think that's a word, but is it?
It's not. It's okay. It's okay. I don't have to correct everything, man. It's fine. It's fine.
I want to correct it, though.
If it kind of makes sense, I won't say anything. Only if it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm having problems understanding, and I bet you the audience will too.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, let it slide.
That being said, a wise decision of how to approach the relations with the opposite sex in every way, and how much you're willing to do it. If you keep doing it, you're gonna sharpen your sword, my friend. That's all it is, right? You just sharpen your sword, and then it's kind of a skill. It's like comedy. It's like mechanical engineering. It's like any type of skill. That's all it is.
That's the title for this week's episode.
What?
Sharpen your sword.
Sharpen your sword. All right, man. I like how you come up with these titles and I just put them down.
Well, when you give it to me like that, it's like I can't not use it. It's like, fuck, they're that good.
Yeah. You are, my friend, you are a good salesman, and I enjoy watching you suck all this dick, dog. I really do. I really do.
It's good times.
It's good shit. Anyways, you got any last thoughts?
No, I think you nailed it there at the end. I got nothing to add to that.
All right. And we are out.